Now, psychologically, this is one of the best times of the year for planning, for goal setting. When you take daily action towards those goals, you can get not just incremental growth, you can get transformational growth. Have you got written goals? If not, let's get some goals and let's get them written down. And that's the secret. There's no secret, but I'm telling you now, it's a system, if you like, for how to achieve world-class, outstanding, hairy-ass big goals. Welcome back to another episode of Success is a System. It's that time of year again. Christmas has gone and we're in that gap between Christmas and New Year. Now, psychologically, this is one of the best times of the year for planning, for goal setting. Why is that? It's because as we come to the end of every calendar year, people are thinking, what's this year been like? Have I achieved what I wanted to achieve? Has it been a good year, a bad year? Often in what used to be the Queen's speech, now the King's speech, they talk about annus horribilis. It's been a terrible year. We're looking forward to these things in the next year. And that psychology between Christmas and New Year is what goes on for us. And we start to naturally consider, what are my New Year's resolutions and what do I want to improve or change or build the momentum on from this year? So it's a time of year where I say to people, have you got your goals locked in for 2024? And if you haven't, you're part of the 90% that never have goals and never really succeed. The 10% that have goals are far more successful. But the real winners are the 3% that not only have goals, but have them written down. You don't have to write them down, but one of my mentors used to say, stay broke, keep losing, don't achieve. And that seems a little bit harsh, but there has been so many tests now that prove that people that have written goals, it's like making a psychological contract with yourself to achieve. That goes straight through to the creative subconscious. And it's like your creative subconscious is often referred to as the taxi driver. It's that taxi driver that when you set it a destination, it will do everything within his power to get you there within the time that you need to be there. So have you got written goals? If not, let's get some goals and let's get them written down. And so today's podcast is all about what winners do to keep winning and the systems of goal setting, of planning, of following through a transition map, a strategic map, a strategic plan to get from where you are to where you want to be. So the first stage of that then is to think about the different areas of your life. Okay, have I got the health that I want? Does that mean, am I getting enough sleep? Am I getting enough exercise or movement? Am I eating as well as I could be? Am I maybe drinking a little bit too much? Am I spending time with the family? Is my mental health in check, or am I constantly dealing with anxiety, stress, anger, trauma, fight or flight? What kind of modes are you in all the time? So, and to me, if you've not sorted that health side of it, everything else is irrelevant anyway, because that's your foundation upon which you will build a happy personal life, family life, home life, or business. So think about that then. Personally, do I want to lose a bit of weight next year? So if we were looking at this time, 2024, between Christmas and New Year, or by the end of 2024, what weight do you want to be? What wants to be your routine for how much sleep you get on average? There'll always be exceptions. But let's try and work to a wind down, a number of hours in bed, giving your body a chance to re-heal, to reset. Am I eating the right foods? Could I just cut a few things out? Maybe a little bit less sugar, maybe a little bit less alcohol. So sometimes goals are about what we need to do more of, and sometimes they're about what we need to do less of. So personally then, firstly, what are we going to do differently, better, or best relative to any other time in our lives? Secondly, have we set SMART goals for them? Now, SMART, you can Google it. It's a well-known acronym. It's SMART, specific. Are those goals specific? It's not just lose weight. It's lose 2 stone by the 31st of December, 2024. Okay, because then I can work back and break that down. How much is that a month? How much is that a week? And I start to think about maybe 1 less biscuit each day, or maybe not having an extra pint or a glass of wine every now and then. Or Greg Wallace, who's had an amazing physical transformation at 60 this coming year. He has lost 3 stone from when he was at his heaviest. He's now got a 6-pack at the age of 60. And his Show Me Fit is a great business, a great program for helping people get healthy. It's not about dieting, it's about different choices. So he likes to drink as much as everybody else, but he tries to primarily discipline himself to 2 drinks twice a week as a kind of rule. Now, people break rules occasionally, but if you've got it as a good habit, it will be the exception when you break it, rather than always having too many drinks too many times a week, which affects you in many other ways, because often if you've had a drink, you want to eat more. So it starts this downward spiral. So what are we going to do specifically on weight? Are we going to move more? Can we set a goal? Not that I'm going to get to the gym on the 1st of January, I'm going to smash it and I'm going to go every day. Maybe that is something you want to do. But if you've not done anything for years, maybe you want to set a goal that says, I'm going to do 500 kilometers, walking, jogging, running, whatever that is, across the year. Now that sounds like a lot, but that's only 10 kilometers a week, which even if you was only doing it 5 days a week, is 2 kilometers. You could walk that, maybe a quick walk after lunch, or in the evening after you've had a meal, or walking the dog if you've got a dog. But just that movement that gets that goal that says, therefore, if I've got an annual goal, if I miss it for 1 day, or I'm low for 1 week because I'm not well, I don't just give up. I can pick up that goal across a year because it's achievable over a period of time. So we've been specific. It's a set date and it's a set weight if that's our driver. Okay, so it's specific. Is it measurable? Okay, yes, I either will or I won't achieve that weight or that exercise in that period. Okay, is it achievable? Well, if I said I'm going to lose 2 stone next week, unless I cut a leg off, that ain't happening. So, but 2 stone in a year, I can break that down and I can say, how many ounces is that per week? And it's then or pounds, that's then really achievable. It's less than, I think it's half a pound a week or something like that. Okay, so specific, measurable, achievable. Is it relevant? Yes, because I'll be stronger, I'll be healthier, it will be good for my health. 350,000 people between the age of 54 and 65 at this moment in the UK are out of work due to obesity-connected illness. It is a pandemic. It is worse than COVID in terms of its impact on the NHS, on people's health, on people's strength, on their vitality, on their energy, on their moods. We have got to address this if we're looking at our health first. So it is relevant. And is it timed? Yes, we put that date on it. So we've got that SMART goal, and that should apply to all of your goals. So have you locked in a health and wellness in physical and mental sense as the foundation and base for your 2024 goal setting? If not, then maybe stop the podcast now and make some notes of what you want to achieve in that sphere of your life. Next, I want to focus on financially. Now, money isn't everything. People sometimes say money's the root of all evil. Well, actually, if you look in the Bible or different references in different cultures that talk about money being evil, it's not money that's the root of all evil. In fact, you can do some great things with money if you do it philanthropically. It's the love of money is the root of all evil, is the actual saying. So if money becomes your ruler and that's your only driver, then maybe that's not healthy. But if you think about, I just want to get to a level where I can take the anxiety out because I've cleared my mortgage, or I can look after my mum, or I can give my kids a good upbringing, or maybe I want to pay for them to go private school. Whatever your choice is, but enough money. And I always think 2 things really. One, I've never had an argument with my wife about having too much money. But when we were homeless and in poverty in our 20s and delivering pizzas on mopeds for a couple of years, we were always arguing about, could we afford a Chinese this week? Or why can't we go on holiday this year, even for a weekend in Norfolk or something? And we argued about those little things because money made us feel like we were having to unnecessarily go without. Whereas if we get more money than we need and our cup overflows, as it were, we can give money to others. And that comes back as a good, positive well-being in a mental sense as well, because it makes you feel good to be able to help other people, to be able to give back, to be able to give because you want to give, not because you want something in return. So what would be your financial goals? Is it a 10% improvement in your salary? Is it a 20% growth? Is it a doubling of your turnover? I've literally helped businesses in the last year get 8 to 10 times growth in their business. When you really set goals, when you make them smart, when you take daily action towards those goals, you can get not just incremental growth, you can get transformational growth. So what are the financial goals for your personal life, for your job, for your business, and maybe for helping other people? Maybe you want a goal that says, and I'm 60 next year, actually in 2024, but since we went broke in our 20s, my wife and I have always given away 10% or more of whatever we earned in any year to charities. And it's a wonderful feeling to be able to do that. So maybe that's a goal, to say I'm going to give 10% of my income to charity. Maybe it's a goal to say, I want to retire my parent, my mum or my dad. They work really hard. They've worked really hard for me, and I want to be able to pay their mortgage off, or just to give them £1,000 a month so they can take the pressure off. What's a financial goal? Or how much do you want to grow your business? Maybe you're doing a few £100,000, you want to get to £1 million turnover. Maybe you're making a few £100,000, you want to get to £1 million profit. Whatever your goal, if you write it down and then we break it down backwards, which I'm going to talk about in a bit, we can transformationally move towards that. And transformation mapping or strategic mapping is exactly what I teach. Where are we today? Where do we want to be in 12 months' time? What areas have we got to work on? And what actions or initiatives are we going to work on to take us from where we are to where we want to be in each of those areas? It doesn't have to be complicated. It's not easy, but it is very simple. And when it's broken down, it's very achievable. Let me talk now about breaking it down. I don't know if you've ever heard the saying of, how do you eat an elephant? And, it's a bit of a ridiculous picture or image that it puts into your brain. You've got this animal that's literally tons in weight, that is probably 100 times the size of the average human being. So when someone says, can you eat an elephant? You think that's ridiculous. Of course I can't. But if you flip that on its head and said, how can you eat an elephant? The answer often, and it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, is one bite at a time. Now, even so, if it's there and we see it, it's like, oh, there's no point. I can't possibly eat it. I'd burst. It's 100 times bigger than me, or whatever size it is. But if we said, let's not think about eating it today or this meal. If we had to do it over a year, how many mouthfuls might that elephant be? So let's say that elephant was 10,000 mouthfuls. Could we eat it? Okay, that would be 200 mouthfuls per week. So if it was 200 mouthfuls per week, we're talking about less, whatever it is, 30 mouthfuls per day, 10 mouthfuls per meal. So even though I wouldn't want to eat elephant all the time, the reality is if we break it down, everything can be achieved if we break it down into bite-sized chunks, achievable sized actions. And that's the secret. Well, it's no secret, but I'm telling you now, it's a system, if you like, for how to achieve world-class, outstanding, hairy-ass big goals. If you want to achieve small goals, then always focus on what you can do now. But if you want big goals, focus on something that is in the future, but you're going to break down into daily actions, into actions a couple of times a day. And literally, I have worked with people and myself to set £20 million goals over 3 years and break it back. How does that come down? How much would I have to make a year? Can I get it exponentially? Is it about income today, about sales today, or multiple values of a business that we can sell? Is it about some investment here, some work there? But if we break it down, it is absolutely achievable.
Unlock your path to success with Success is a System, the podcast that guides you through proven strategies and expert insights. Join us every fortnight as we break down the systems behind success. Subscribe now for your fortnightly dose of inspiration and practical tips. Success is not just a dream, it's a system. Tune in and transform your journey. Visit www.mikegreen.co.uk for more info. Success is a system where dreams meet strategy.
The next thing, of course, is time. How are you going to use your time? A homeless person or a failure. I don't like the word failure because I think failure breeds success, and we could all be failures or we could all be successful depending on whether we're willing to stay in that failure mode or push through it and grow through it. But a failure or a homeless person has the same number of hours as Elon Musk. It's the great leveler. You might say Elon Musk had a better upbringing, had a wealthier parents, went to a better school, had a different education, had more supportive parents, whatever it was. But he never, ever had more time. Oprah Winfrey and all the fantastic billionaire achievement, she never had more time. In fact, she had more other things going in her life that were worse than most people had to deal with. Raped at 14 by an uncle, pregnant, lost a baby. That didn't make her stop. It didn't make her give up. Her drive to firstly solve her own issues, but then to start to help people literally around the world drove her, and she broke it down, and bit by bit she chipped away at that till she achieved it. So how do we break those goals down after we've set them? That becomes really important. And how do we use our time to do that? And if you look at world-class musicians, one of my daughters plays the cello, the French horn, the piano, and on French horn, she plays in orchestras. But when she first started, it was an awful sound, and you're trying to encourage them. But what I'm conscious of now is she only played for 15, 20 minutes a day, but it was every day, 15, 20 minutes every day. And bit by bit, she got better and better. And 15 minutes a day is 90 hours a year. 90 hours a year focused on something, improving yourself day in, day out. You will be transformationally different within a year to what you are the first 15 minutes you start. And you can be an expert in most things with that much focus obsessively in the detail of improving one area of your life. You can literally over a few years become a world-class musician, a world-class anything, if you're doing it every single day, a little bit each day. It's not about changing everything about your life. It's not about spending all your time and becoming Billy No Mates, unrelatable, obsessive. It's about breaking it down into consistent, small actions that will take you from where you are to where you want to be. So we've talked about personal, physical, family. We've talked about financial, okay? The question then to ask yourself is, what are you passionate about? Because I find it really hard. If you've got no passion for what you do, when you wake up and you're tired, or you wake up and you're not feeling very well, or something gets tough, if you haven't got a passion to get to a goal or achieve what it is you're working to achieve, it's really hard to push through that. Most successful people I know are very passionate about what they do. So when you're setting goals, don't just set goals from where you are to improve what you've got. Set goals to first say, do I want to even be where I am in this business, in this job, in this town, city, country, or is my passion elsewhere? Can I find my passion elsewhere? And that's a bit of a deeper question, but it's something you should ask yourself. Because if you're doing something you love and you never make much money, and you do it all your life, at least you spent your life doing something you love. But if you do something you hate and you make good money, but you spend every day of your life doing something you hate, which is the better life? And that's an individual question, but it's a question you need to ask yourself. Because success isn't just about wealth. To me, success is health, wealth, and happiness. And if you're missing any one of those, then I don't think you're successful. I know lots of millionaires that are unhappy, that have gone through terrible relationships, that still feel they haven't got enough, that are unrelatable to people. I know lots of millionaires that are happy financially, but have literally destroyed their body in the process. So they're not healthy. Or they've focused so much on the business, on the wealth, that they've lost connection with their family, their children, their brothers, their sisters, their mum, their dad, their partners. And suddenly they get to this point of wealth later in life, maybe 50, maybe 60, maybe later, and they realize they've climbed the ladder they were trying to climb, only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall, i.e. it took them somewhere that gave them one part, the wealth, but it didn't give them the health or the happiness. So any goal that we're setting, any transition map, any future state needs to encapsulate things that will make you wealthy, healthy, and happy. Now, a lot of people say you don't need the wealth bit to be happy. Oh, I'm sorry, you need enough. You need enough money not to be dependent on anyone else. There's nothing wrong with not being dependent on anyone else, but that can be taken away at any point in time. You are more in control of what you do and your success. And if you hand it over to someone else, the government, your parents, your partner, or you expect someone else to look after you, not only do you not have the internal pride, internal self-respect, but actually at any point in time that rug can be pulled away from you. That reward can be taken away from you when you earn it yourself based on your work, based on what you do that you know you can do, you're willing to do. It is transformationally different. Now, one of the next things, and I talk about this a lot in the different podcasts I do, and I hear it a lot from different successful people whose systems we're trying to understand and share with you in Success as a System, is when you determine where am I today, where do I want to be in 12 months, there's going to be a gap. Now, sometimes that gap is about breaking it down, as we said, about the work that you do, about bite-sized chunks, doing it frequently in small bits rather than building up to one massive commitment or workload that you've got. But the other part of a gap is sometimes it's a skill gap. So sometimes it's about, okay, I am where I am because of the choices I've made and the knowledge I have, and where I want to be requires me to know some different stuff or to have some different skills. So what is that skill gap, and is it something you're going to learn? Now, we learn academically to a base level at school or at university. That's like the foundation. The learning for life is about life skills, business skills, people skills, motivational skills, self-motivation skills, and the systems of successful people, the psychology of success. They're things that come later. Often through experience, or if you can learn from other people's experience, that's when you can really scale that learning, because it's wisdom. Experience is about learning from mistakes and success. Wisdom is learning from other people's mistakes or success. If you can learn through wisdom and you can onboard that and act on it and build that way, it'll be a quicker journey. Sometimes we still make the mistakes. But is there a skill gap, and what do I need to do to learn the things I need to learn to get from where I am to where I need to be? If that's something I just don't have within me, either because I have zero passion, zero confidence in my ability, and I say confidence because we all have the same kind of brains, and realistically most of us can do what most other people do. Now, if there's a physical restriction, that's one thing, but mentally we can learn the stuff. But if we literally have no desire, no passion, no commitment to learning something different, we need to ask ourselves, do I need to employ somebody or find a way to do something for them that they can do for me, so that we bring that skill set into our journey to ensure that we bridge the gap from where we are to where we want to be. But we have got to learn something different, because you are today where you are based on all of your thoughts, knowledge, and actions. And we don't know what we don't know often, and that's part of strategic mapping and part of looking at the gap between future state and current state, where we want to be and where we are. So think about it. What else do I need to learn? What skills do I need to take on or adapt or adopt? Or what people, systems, processes, or partnerships do I need to bring into my life or my business in order to bridge that gap? So now, if we've been writing that down, and on my website, mikegreen with an e.co.uk, I'll put the templates for planning, and on there you can download them. There's a 3-year template, there's a 4-quarter template, there's a 3-month template, there's a 4-week template. So often when I'm mentoring people, we start with the 3-year, we start with the end in mind. We then boil down to, okay, having set that 3-year big goal, what are we going to achieve in 2024? And then we say, okay, let's break that down again into what are the 4 quarters? How does that annual goal break down into 4 quarters? We then say, okay, the next period really is the next 3 months. So let's break that down. What are we going to achieve in January, in February, in March, that takes us towards that annual goal on the journey to the 3-year goal? But then we can go one step further and say, okay, we now know what we need to do in January, but what are we going to do this week? The first week, the second week, the third week, the 4th week. And the templates are all on my website, but you could just scribble these down. Before I created the templates, I would just write them down. My current state, I earn in this much, I weigh this much, I'm working these many hours, And then I might set a goal to say, I want a better car, I want this car, I want to earn this much, I want my business to turn over that much, I want to employ those many people, I want to do less hours, I want to climb a mountain next year, which I am going to do in my 60th year. I haven't climbed many other mountains, so this time next year I'll tell you which one it is. I'm working with a mate Patrick on which mountain to climb in my 60th year. But what is that? And then we work back in those templates. Now that sounds like a lot of work, but honestly, we're talking about a couple of hours to get your 3-year goal. And then on a monthly basis, I have a recurring calendar appointment on the 27th of every month to update and set next month's goal. That literally, because I'm taking it from the template I've already got for the year, for the quarters, for the month, it literally takes me about 40 minutes, 50 minutes as I think, oh, I didn't achieve this last month, so I need to add that to this month. And this month in itself, I've got to do this. So if I break that down into 4 weeks, there's actually 4.3 weeks in a month, but if I break it down into 4 weeks, what does that look like on a weekly basis? And then each Sunday when I set my week ahead or review my week ahead, I make sure that I've put some of those things in. And don't forget, often goals aren't about hours and hours and days and months of stuff. They're about 15 minutes every day. So we're not looking for massive blocks of time. And trust me, if you don't believe this, I'd happily work with you. If you want to talk to me about my mentoring, just drop me a note on mikegreen.co.uk. And if you need mentoring to support you on that journey, I'll have the conversation. Or buy my book, Failure Breeds Success. And that takes you through that journey and helps you with the mapping as well. But I'm not here to sell you my mentoring book. I'm here to give you the plan. You can write, where am I today? Where do I want to be in a year? I need to work on personal, I need to work on financial, I need to work on within my business people, I need to employ some people, I need to get an incentive scheme on sales and marketing, I need to get a new salesperson or better at selling, I need a new lead funnel, marketing, have I built a brand, do I need a brand, how do I build that brand? Each of those will have actions and initiatives that will boil down into small daily bite-sized actions that you or one of your team can do to get you from where you are to where you want to be. And part of the success of the system that I used, that I adopted from one of my mentors, was it has to be on one page. It's a 3-year, one-page map, which if we want to, we could just work off that, and many companies I work with do, but we can distill it down to 2024. We can distill it down to Q1 2024. We can distill it down to January, and we can break it down into the 4 weeks of January. If you need that level of detail to help you focus and hyper-focus and set micro goals, because big goals scare you, we can boil it down. Trust me, that's the system for success that makes the difference in goal setting. As we sit here today, I hope you had an amazing Christmas. I hope that you plan to make, because success is a choice, it's not a chance. Make 2024 the best year of your life, the happiest year of your life, the healthiest year of your life, and the wealthiest year of your life. It is absolutely within your control if you set a plan, if you work that plan and you break the goals down and do the small things that make the difference. I wish you outstanding success. Please do come back and let me know how you're doing along the way. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on all the social medias. I'm on YouTube. I do podcasts at least once every 2 weeks, and I'm easy to contact. You can come onto my website and leave me a note, Mike Green, or one word with an E on the end of green.co.uk. I want to hear about your success. I want to hear about your journey. But equally, if you're having a problem, drop me a note and I'll come back and give you some tips on how you can overcome that. And follow other Success is a System podcasts for tips from other great people who have achieved incredible things with their life. Literally, some of them well into the 9 figures of wealth from uneducated or limited backgrounds, or people have had an amazing education, gone on to do amazing things with it rather than just get a job, J-O-B, just over broke. You can be, you can do, you can have anything you want. I wish you outstanding success. Make 2024 your year.